Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you are having a great day. Unfortunately, at Dover earlier this season, I lost a little bit of footage in that race, and it happened again for this episode here for the final race of the regular season. Basically, I lost most of the second stage and as well as most of the final stage, but I got some cinematic cameras that will help us out, so hopefully we will be able to still get a good episode out of this, as like I said, it's the final race of the regular season as we came through into qualifying, crossing the line, hitting a 41.293. We actually went P2 here for Indianapolis, so hopefully we can have a strong run here today, but it might be a little bit of a shorter video, obviously, due to the footage loss, but we got Denny Hamlin on the pole here for the final race of the regular season at the Brickyard 400, so hopefully we can come out of here with a win.
NASCAR makes its way to Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Big Machine Vodka Brickyard 400. It's always great coming back here, and this is the final stop of the regular season. So for those drivers on the outside looking in, kissing the brakes would sure feel good today.
Alright, thank you, Rick Allen. Basically, the 16 drivers that are in the playoffs right now will be the same unless we have someone outside of the top 16 win here today at Indianapolis. Obviously, we do have a few surprise winners this season that have snuck their way into the playoffs due to those wins, like Ryan Preece in the Daytona 500 and Matt DiBenedetto at Sonoma as well. So, obviously, a couple surprise playoff spots now as we're ready to go green, and the Brickyard 400 is underway. The final race of the regular season. We come into this race with 3 wins here in our rookie season. A great season it has been for us as we go down towards turns 1. There's been a little bit of inconsistency involved, obviously, including last race at Darlington, where we finished, I think, 37th after running really in the top 10 most of that race, and then obviously we came out of turn 2, lost the back end of the car, hit the inside wall, and then obviously we had to take some time to repair the car on the pit lane and end up losing a lap. So that was certainly unfortunate. Now, as we went down this back straightaway, Kyle Busch got clear, and so did Martin Truex Jr. as we give Kyle Busch a bit of a shot to the bumper as we go down towards turns 3. I noticed very early on in this race that the draft is extremely overpowered at this racetrack. You can suck up to another car very, very quickly with help from the draft here at Indianapolis. You're going to certainly probably see that a few times in this video. You see, as soon as I get the draft from the 18, we close right up, look to the inside of him, side by side with Kyle Busch now as we come through to complete this opening lap here in Indy. As we also look to the inside now of Martin Truex Jr. as we go down towards turns 1. Kyle Busch though back up the outside, didn't get through turns 1 like we had hoped. Now as we're a little bit sideways there, just barely on the exit of turn 1, and we slide in behind the 18 to Kyle Busch, so we came through now into turns 3 on the second lap, still behind the 18, actually getting onto that apron a little bit there, getting a little sideways, but Kyle Busch, he would actually be able to pass Martin Truex Jr. and drive away. So did Denny Hamlin, obviously leading this race, and it was myself and Truex just kind of trying to work together at this point as we went down the back straightaway, giving him a bit of a shot to the bumper as we went down towards turns 3 as Hamlin's just trying to drive away here with the stage victory. Now as the caution though would come out and set us up for a restart here past the halfway point in this first stage. No one would pit, so we would get right back into the action as the green flag is back out here in Indianapolis, and we have less than 5 laps to go now here in this first stage at the Brickyard 400. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., all Joe Gibbs Racing drivers 1, 2, 3 as we come through turns 1. There's our rival of Kyle Larson now, who gets to my inside as we exit turn 1, and sure enough, he's going to give us no room there as we go towards the outside now, messing up turns 2 due to that little moment there with the 42 contact with the 2 of Keselowski, and now we get to the outside wall as we exit turn 2, and there's damage now on the right side of the car. All of a sudden, we go from P4 to looking outside of the top 10 as Legato gets clear as we go down this back straightaway towards turns 3. So Jimmy Johnson just behind us, as that was obviously a bit of a hectic restart. The 42 kind of crowded me up the track, and I knew it was coming, so I tried to give him as much space as I could, but he just still kind of kept coming up, and it messed up my turn 2 as well, unfortunately, as we came out of turn 4 at this point, heading down the front straightaway. There you see once again just how overpowered the draft is, because we are just flying when we have the draft. As we look to the inside of Stenos, 3 wide with him and Logano, we clear them both and take over P10. We would continue running P10 as we came to the final lap, though, of this first and final stage. Now looking to the outside there of the 31 of Tyler Reddick as we went down this back straightaway for the final time, down towards turn 3 of the inside now of the 9 of Chase Elliott as we go down into this third turn. Obviously, we can really go aggressive in this race because it doesn't matter what happens here for us in Indianapolis, and for many other drivers, just Tyler Reddick, though, sneaks back up the inside as we come through turn 4, and he gets clear as we exit the corner. But we know we have the draft as we exit the corner and quickly close in on the outside now of the 31 of Tyler Reddick as we come through to cross the line here behind the 9 of Elliott. We get this position and get P9 here in stage 1. And unfortunately, this is where the footage loss came in, where I pretty much lost everything in stage 2 and most of stage 3. Hamlin won the stage. We would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, as well as repair the car. We would get back going. This is where you're just going to see cinematic cameras from points of the second stage. So hopefully you guys will kind of get the gist of basically what went down. I did make a bit of a wedge adjustment, I think it was there on the car, and we, like I said, would get back going from P9. We might have gained a few positions or so on the pit stop, but this is now on the restart here. This is the first lap of the second stage as I was right on the back of Martin Truex Jr. I did think I have figured out actually what has caused this footage loss. Like I said, it happened earlier this season at Dover, and it was a very similar situation. We lost pretty much all of stage 2 and most of the final stage, and that's exactly what happened this time. But I think I figured out what happened, so hopefully we will be able to address that issue and that won't happen in the future. So it's good to know that we actually might know exactly what went wrong with this recording issue. So we came through now on lap 5 of the second stage. Actually, Denny Hamlin no longer leading this race. Alex Bowman was running up front. We had moved our way though up into the 5th position, and a little bit later on we tried to make a pass on Kyle Busch up the inside as it came through turns 3, but I made a bit of a mistake there getting sideways out of turns 3. Kyle Busch would stay clear of me, and I couldn't quite make the pass. So we came through now to the final lap of the second stage. Larson had actually gotten into the situation and actually gave me the bumper into turns 3 as he is all over our back bumpers to go down towards turn 4. I was battling obviously with the 18 of Kyle Busch, and Larson gets up the inside now as we exit turn 4, heading down this front straightaway side by side with the 42 of Larson. He tries to crowd us up, and I almost hook him in the right rear there as I was going down this front straightaway as we would come through to cross the line behind the 42 of Kyle Larson. We got stage points obviously, so now we came through to the start of this third and final stage at this point, actually getting back in front of the 42 of Larson due to pit stops and whatnot. Denny Hamlin still running up front at this point, and so was Alex Bowman, I believe, who was actually won that second stage as we were trying to get past the 20 of Eric Jones at this point. So we were just continuing to run solidly in this top 10, which was at least comfortable for myself as we would cross the line trying to get to the inside of Kyle Busch as well. We passed Kyle Busch and once again got battling with Kyle Larson within the final 10 laps of this race, which was pretty much the whole final stage as we made major contact with the 42 of Larson. He's getting sideways as we came through turn 3, nearly turning him on the exit of turn 3 as we continued to battle it out with Larson. This is where the footage finally came back in here with 5 laps to go. Now as we exit turns 1, heading down towards turns 2, Larson just in front of us. You see there's some damage on the right side of the car from hitting the wall, and now we get into the apron a little bit, and up the track we go in turns 2. We hit the wall again, and now damage the car pretty significantly here as Kyle Busch would get past. As this whole race has just been a bit of a mess here, especially in this final stages. We came down through turns 1 on lap 38 of 43 laps to go at this point, trying to hold off Brad Keselowski, Eric Jones at this point. I didn't have any help from the draft, so I had basically just been hoping that I could do everything I could to hold these guys behind us off as we're sliding on the exit of turn 2, and we might even have to make a pit stop. We come through now with 2 laps to go in this race. The fuel icon's on, the tire icon's on. Well, we make it, but now the caution would actually come out, and this would set us up for overtime. I was thinking, do we stay out? What happens here? But it looked like everyone is coming to the pit lane. Obviously, we don't have enough fuel to make it, so I decided we would come in to the pit lane and take half a can of fuel and hope that that would be enough. If we have a second overtime attempt, it might be not good for us, but we would get ready to go green. No repairs on the car, no tires, just half a can of fuel as the green flag is out, and now just 2 laps remain here in the regular season. You see the drivers up front. Nothing's going to change in the playoff grid. We can already confirm that now as we go down towards turns 1, and Larson actually hit the wall there on the entrance to turn 1. We look to the inside of Larson, and we get into the side of him, just plowing through him. I didn't care at this point. The way he had raced me throughout this race, I did not have a care in the world what I just did to the 42 of Kyle Larson. Obviously, you guys know Larson, he's tied for my favorite driver in the Cup Series, so I certainly don't mean anything bad to Kyle Larson. Now as we go down this back straightaway, pushing Brad Keselowski as we have just a lap and a half to go, as we're going to look to the inside and make it 3 wide with Kyle Busch and both Keselowskis. We go down into turn 3. Hamlin leads the way. He's had an incredible season so far. He's easily been the top driver this season as we exit turn 3 in front of Kyle Busch on the inside of the 2 of Brad Keselowski as we come through turns 4, nearly clearing the 2, but not quite enough speed as we make contact now as we exit turn 4, heading down this front straightaway. Hamlin leads the way to the white flag here in the Brickyard 400. He had a chance a few years ago in real life to win the Brickyard 400, but Brad Keselowski was able to get the best of him on a late race restart. Now as we come through turns 1, just about clearing the 2, he still hangs on my right rear though as we exit turn 1 heading down through turns 2, but now we will clear the 2 of Brent Keselowski. Kurt Busch in second place tries to close the gap one final time down this back straightaway to Denny Hamlin. Alex Bowman lurking behind in third. Obviously, here we are now in P4. A pretty heavily damaged car on the right-hand side, but has still been fast enough to do the job as we go down towards turns 3 for the final time here in the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. Sideways as we exit the corner down the short little straightaway towards turns 4. Denny Hamlin has gotten 3 wins this season. Kyle Busch actually sneaks up our inside though as we come through turns 4 sideways on the exit of the corner, but we hang on to it. But like I said, Denny Hamlin 3 wins on the season will make it 4 with his first ever Brickyard 400 victory as we would cross the line to get P5 here at the Brickyard 400. Certainly unfortunate that we lost all that footage in this race, but at least we were able to get the first stage and still have cinematic cameras to show what happened here and there. But there you see the finishing order on your screen. That was, like I said, the final race of the regular season. So we have our playoff grid now decided, and it's the same 16 drivers that it was coming in to this race, obviously, there, as now we are P5 in the point standings after the race. I said if Larson would have worried about his own race instead of trying to ruin mine, maybe he could have made the playoffs, because Kyle Larson is not in the playoffs this season. As surprising as that is, I feel like the few surprise winners of Priest and Benedetto put Larson in a bad position, obviously getting into the playoffs. Now, as we have some video messages from multiple drivers.
Hey, congrats on making it into the playoffs. Good luck.
Thank you, Alex Bowman. Now we have one from Almirola.
You made the playoffs. That is a feat. Congratulations.
Thank you, Eric Almirola. And now William Byron from, I think, the Elevator.
Hey, congrats on making the playoffs. Good luck.
Thank you, William. I tell you, that looks like just a really fancy elevator.
Hey, congratulations on making it into the playoffs. Now the real work begins. Good luck.
Thank you, Joey Logano. Okay, so we got a lot of video messages. I think that's it. Yeah, it is. So, as always, though, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. It's a shame that we lost the footage, but like I said, I think I finally figured out what was causing it. We had that, obviously, like I said, at Dover earlier this season, and it happened once in the Xfinity Series as well. So hopefully we don't have that issue again. As Larson, he's still not happy. We actually apologize, because I'm trying to keep him away from being a rival, of course, but he still didn't really care. Sorry, I didn't apologize. I provoked him because I wasn't happy, but we will need to apologize because we got to keep him away from being a rival because he can really mess up our playoffs. As we're going to check the playoff grid here on your screen, obviously we start the next one at Las Vegas for the playoffs, so hopefully we can have a strong run. There it is right there. We're 20 points to the good starting the playoffs, which isn't as good as I was hoping we would be, so it might get a little bit tough. I think the first round will be okay, but the second round is certainly going to get interesting. As you see, Priest, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, and Ryan Blaney, your 4 drivers out. So Blaney's the last guy in, so we'll see how far he can go in this playoffs. Maybe he'll be a first round exit. We don't know. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys, though, in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.